using the dirty water. And then I'm going to kind of clean it up with the clean water. Go back into my yellow. Get a good amount of that on my brush. And you can see I'm just, you know, I had left little areas, little gaps, but it doesn't matter. I mean, if I accidentally paint into the fence and there's maskit there, it's not going to let me paint into the fence. It's going to protect the fence. And there might be areas where I accidentally kind of went outside into the area I want green. I can always go back after I remove the maskit. I can always go back and fix that. It's not going to be a perfect process. I kind of like my watercolors to be a little bit messy. Just all depends. If you wanted to go in here and just really define each little ivy leaf, that's up to you. There might be times when that I might want to do that too, but I kind of saw this as being a little bit rustic and loose in quality. Now, I've got the, and forgive me because I'm actually looking at the paper. I'm not really looking at through the lens because it's weird. It's not, there's a little bit of a delay. So there might be times when I'm actually painting and not really showing you what I'm painting. So I apologize ahead of time. This is a little bit of clematis. It's a little bit of a different blue leaf. So I might go in here, maybe try a little bit of the phthalo blue. See what kind of a different, it's a little more aqua. Mix that with a little bit of the green. See if that gives me a little bit of a brighter, different green for the clematis leaves. I've got clematis growing in my backyard. And I should have actually used the liquid maskit on the whole clematis flowers, but I didn't, so I'll just try my best to paint around them, because I wasn't thinking. And the reference that I'm using has a little bit of lattice work, which I also didn't paint, so I'll just kind of leave a little, I'll just kind of do that, because not a lot of it's showing. Oh, I did mask it there. You can tell because it's repelling the paint. So now I'm slowly building up the values, the reference that I'm using. Oh, I should show you the reference that I'm using. That's the reference. No, this is not an original. I did not take a picture. I looked through my pictures, but I didn't want to spend a lot of time looking for something. So anyway, I would prefer that you guys use your own references. I always usually do use my own references, but I just recently dumped a bunch of my pictures. They're saved on my computer, but the computer just doesn't work as well as the iPad for just propping it up and using it for my reference. Okay, so you can see how I'm kind of going in here with different greens. And see the luminescent quality of that now that it's dry. And it also has a little bit of hard edges, which I like. And I like a little bit of the yellow poking through. I have a little bit of that happening here too, which I like. In the reference, it gets quite dark in this area right here. So I'll just keep building this up. I personally do not use black, but if I did use black, it would just be to like shade a color for the value of it. If I want to mix my own black, I have the colors to do so. I just take I'm after the value. So I need to take my dark value colors, which either one of these is pretty dark value. I'm going to go ahead and use the ultramarine red shade because I feel like that's a nice dark value. Okay. I have a dark brown here too. I think that's a Van Dyke brown. So I might take a little bit of that. Just a neutral. Because remember, I'm after the value right now. I'm after the dark value. It gives me kind of a greenish, army greenish. So this is a permanent rose color. It's not a super dark value, but it will give me the color that I want. So I'm just going to keep kind of adding the dark value blue to it. Notice how I'm using the dirty water to clean my brush because I'm after black right now. I'm wanting to mix a black. So now it's purple. So I need a little more of that darker value blue. Oops, I just mixed my two blues. I do that. That's how I paint. That's me. I'm messy. I'm looking. I might have. I don't know what color that is right now. That might be a. Oh, that's a blue as well. I don't know why I have another blue in here, but. Okay, so it's very, very blue. So I just keep adding either neutrals or the red to find a happy medium and get it to look as, you know, blue as I can. I mean, not as blue, as black as I can. There. It's either tending towards red or it's tending towards blue, but it does have a really nice dark value, which that's more of what I'm after. What I have painted is dry, so I could go back in here and just kind of add some dark value to some of the areas. Oops, you can see where that's bleeding. That's not a bad thing. I don't mind. If it's a little bit wet still, your colors will bleed that you add to it, but that can give you some cool effects. I do kind of, I'm showing a little bit of the leaves popping out. Those I don't want to be dark value. I want to separate the dark value from the leaves that are popping out. If I make a mistake, I can always go back in with my bristle